Hello and welcome to Waves, podcast by Kleinet.
Hi guys, today here I'm with my friend Abdullah and myself Bibek. This is our first podcast, and I just want to introduce ourselves and then our company Kleinet. So what we do here is we do social media marketing and lead generation for the small to big businesses. And today we're going to talk about, what really social media is, right Abdullah?
Right. So I guess the first thing is, what is social media marketing?
What do you think, Abdullah? What is social media marketing?
Social media marketing, the way I see it, is basically marketing to people using the platforms where people come together.
Right.
So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn.
So do you think because you mentioned few of the platforms, right? The Facebook, and then everyone knows about Facebook, everyone knows about Instagram and Twitter, but what they don't know is that how to grow your business using that, correct?
Right. That's usually overlooked because there's so many aspects that come along with social media marketing. You could be posting images, videos, you could be posting promotions. There's so much to it.
Right. Right now, if you see it, every person is using some form of social media, unless you're living on the rock. Even I think people on the rock, like Patrick, maybe using a Facebook. I think I saw an episode where Patrick was using Facebook. I don't remember. Don't quote me for that, but everyone uses Facebook.
Right.
So now the trend is moving towards the social media, right? Back in the days, in early centuries, in I think 60s or 70s, before the TV came, there were radios, and then slowly TV came into the market, and then the radio marketing became kind of obsolete, right? But now we're moving to another trend like that, digital age, right? So where we're moving from TV for the source of entertainment and advertisement to social media, right, Abdullah?
Right. Even earlier in the 21st century, people were doing internet marketing using Google ads and whatnot.
Right.
But that's even evolved into what is now social media marketing,
right,
and even lead generation, and it just keeps on evolving. So how do you stay up to date?
As you mentioned, we started with the Google ads. So we started with, there's a whole internet, the .com boom came into play, and there were Google ads was really popular, right? But I think after 2010, I think that's when the Facebook first started advertisement, if I'm not wrong. 2010, the social media marketing started to become popular, right? And after 2014, I believe it's really getting out there, right? It's really getting popular, and the businesses that are using it properly are growing twice by the day and 4 times by the night, right? But people who have been successful for over the decades and now they're not implementing social media are losing their businesses, right?
Yes, you're falling behind. If you're not keeping up with the times, how can you expect to succeed? Because the environment is changing.
Right.
So you got to adapt and overcome.
Right.
And how do you adapt?
Yeah.
You got to learn your environment.
Yeah.
And social media right now is so powerful. You need to learn how to use it properly, or even at least take advantage of it, because you're literally reaching hundreds of thousands, millions of people around the world, even in your city or your state. So not taking advantage of it is a complete loss.
Yeah. So now Abdullah, so when you say taking advantage, right? Now there's a question our viewers might have a question that who needs it? Who needs social media?
Any type of business, right? Anybody who has a business, selling a product. If you're selling a service, why not use social media to bring people to your location, or to ship your item, or promote your product? What can't it be used for? That's the bigger question. What can't social media be used for?
Right. Now the thing is that whenever I think when we first started, we still we got a lot of clients, right? Now the first objection we have normally, or not the first, but normally the first objection is that like social media is no use to me, or it doesn't apply to my businesses, and I'm like, even the restaurants, that's most obvious ones, like it's and people say that it's not applied to their businesses, and the reason I think they say that is because they have never done it before, and they've been running restaurants for over 30 years and they had never done it before.
Yeah.
Right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
But now then, how do you convince them, or how do you show them the importance of social media for their business, the business that has been running well for 25 years without no social media? But now if you go and tell them you need social media, like, how do you justify that?
Well, everybody, I would say, all these restaurants or all these businesses, there are businesses in each industry that are moving to social media, right? And the ones that do are taking advantage, or they're basically gathering all this potential that there's people out there on social media that are looking for businesses, and they're able to reach them. And the ones that are not on social media are not able to reach those people, so they might not see it as like an obvious loss, because they're still doing well. Maybe.
They're still doing well, right.
But then over time, these people that are taking advantage, like, they're gonna have a big following.
Right.
And the new generation, the people that are growing up in the social media age, they're gonna see these businesses that are standing out on social media, and they're not gonna see the ones that are hidden. And then that's what's gonna be their downfall.
Right. And I agree with you.
Now, that's just for B2C, business to customer. And yeah, that could work. But how would it be an advantage for B2B?
Right.
How could businesses take advantage of it?
See, now this is a tricky one, right? Because superficially, when you see, okay, if I'm selling my business to only another business, like, why do I need social media, right? But one thing that people don't understand, B2B still involves people that use the social media, right?
Right, yeah.
Right? The person, let's say you're selling a printer. Let me give an example. Let's say you're selling a printer to companies, right? And the person, whoever is responsible to buy printer, is also a human being who uses social media, right? So let's say if he's involved, if he has seen your company's Facebook page, your social engagement, your websites, and then he already knows about you, he already trusts you, then he's more likely to buy from you than let's say if you're a random person who just walks into the door and says, hey, I have a printer, and then buy 100 pieces. And there's another, your competitor on the same hand is like, oh yeah, buy 100 pieces from me too, but the other guy is the follower of, they have Facebook, they have Instagram, they have constant engagement of people. So the manager who is supposed to make the decision, like, who is he gonna go for?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's gonna go for the one who has more social presence, because social presence is not only about like showing that you have social media, it's about building your brand. You're pretty much branding yourself. You're showing who you are, like what your company culture is. You're that's your face pretty much, right? So in that regard, social media becomes even more important for B2B businesses than B2C, because B2B, if you lose one client because you don't have a Facebook page, the consequences of that is much higher than losing one customer.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, like the investment for Facebook or any social media is so small compared to how much you could get returns on,
right,
or
right.
loss.
Like, consequences
Right.
huge,
Yeah.
man.
Like, why wouldn't I just go and buy something? I already know about the product. They already sold me their product through their Facebook media,
Right.
Facebook campaigns and whatnot. I already know about it. Like, why should I go spend more time learning about somebody else's product?
Exactly.
Already.
Yeah. Already there. All the videos or tutorials or whatever is already there. You have the customer feedback already there. So you're building a social proof. So I would say that for the B2B, it's even more important, than B2C. I mean, I'm not saying the B2C is not important, but the both are equally important. And just because your customer don't use Facebook or social media, or that's not how you get customers from, does not mean that you can neglect social media. Because I can promise you, in the long run, it is going to hurt you. It is for sure going to hurt you. So that's about like who needs it right now. Now we discussed pretty much about why we need it. You know, all the discussion about what kind of consequence it might have, and the rewards too. So I want to talk a little bit about the rewards, right? So we talked about you might losing customer, you might lose businesses. So I want to talk a little bit more about the perks of having social media.
Social media, like I said before, it has such a big outreach. All the way from, the people on Facebook, you have their own demographics on Facebook. There's a separate demographic on Instagram.
Right.
And different media. And then you got the professional audience on LinkedIn.
So the outreach you're saying is huge.
Yeah, you're taking advantage of all these different channels, reaching people with your product and service. And what that means in terms of results, or that all these people are getting a chance to see who you are, what you're about, what your product is like. That's all it's about. I mean, if you're doing advertising in newspapers or word of mouth and everything, what is the core of it? What is the core of that?
Yeah,
people are just learning about you and your product. So why not just tell everybody?
Exactly. Why
not? And if you tell 1,000 people, you could be having 10% that are interested. That's 100 people. And 10% of that actually buy it, that's one more person. Out of 1,000, one out of 1,000. And you got millions of people, you could be getting thousands of customers.
Right.
I mean, what's the drawback?
What
is the drawback?
There's literally none. And one more thing I want to add to what we were saying is that the one big flexibility, or the power, I say, of the social media is that you can customize your audiences. You can target to the specific kind of audiences, right? The social media gives you the power. For instance, in TV, if you throw an ad, like, everyone is gonna see that ad, right? Let's say let me give you an example. I say, if I see a diapers ad on TV, baby diaper, like, what am I gonna do with it? Literally nothing. So that person is wasting his money on targeting me on the TV, right? The TV you cannot customize, course, right? Yeah. But the social media has a power that you can only target to the people who just had a child, or who had a child of this age, right? Or who has a family member who had a child of this age.
Right.
So it gives you the power to customize your target audience
to who is most likely to purchase your product or service.
Exactly. That's, I think, one of the biggest perks. And we use that every day. We use that every day for our clients.
Right.
Finding specific kind of clients, customer for them. And that's why I think that the social media is powerful. And I mean, now, Abdullah, the thing is, like, okay, we talked about what social media is,
Yeah.
Who needs it and why, and then now the big question, or a big question for, like, anything you do is that, like, how to start, or where to start.
Yeah, where do we start?
How does one start? How does somebody who has no social media present at all, right, has no clue, like, how to even open a Facebook account, to people who knows and who has been using social Facebook or Instagram for a while but does not know how to optimize it for their business? Like, how do that person start social media?
The really crazy thing about social media is that there's so many different ways to go about it.
Right.
There's so many channels. There's so many types of media. There's so many things you can do with it. I mean, it's phenomenal. Like, you cannot learn all of that in one day. You can't. What you got to start with, I believe, is you just got to start from what you know.
Okay.
So what do you know? If you know Facebook, if you've used Facebook, if you have an account, go ahead and make your Facebook page.
Facebook business page, right?
Yeah.
For your business. Okay.
Right. You start setting things up. Go one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
Learn it.
Right.
Learn it. Look at who is successful. Who's doing well.
Right.
Take pointers from them and see how you can implement that in your own business. I mean, it's as easy as that. I don't know what.
It's better to like start somewhere, even if you don't know what you're doing, than to not start. Like it's better to take some kind of action,
right? Yeah.
than taking no action at all.
Exactly.
You see, so that's one way of going about it. And the other thing is that the one good thing about social media is that the information is everywhere, right? So you can go to YouTube, you can like search a couple of videos on how to start social media campaign or Facebook campaign or Instagram campaign for your business, and there will be a wise guy, telling you how to do it. So there's the starting point, right? And if you have kids who are millennials or who are pretty good with nephews, pretty good with social
tech
media,
savvy.
you can tech savvy. You can just ask them how to do it, and they will help you. It will take 5 minutes if you're not tech savvy, right? It might take you 1 hour to set up everything, and for them, even if they're like 7 years old, they can do that in 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So they are the experts, right? So that's how you can start. And do you want to say something, Abdullah?
Yeah, Bibek, why don't we tell our listeners a good point for where they can actually start their social media marketing?
Okay.
Why don't we give them some pointers of, all right, this is where you can start, and they can get started right away.
Okay. What I think is that first thing for any business you do is that create a Facebook business page. Do you agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
But also, what goes with that is also looking at your market, what your brand is about.
Brand is about, right?
Who are you targeting? I mean,
right.
I'm not going to be, let's go back to the diaper analogy. I'm not going to be like putting diapers and then putting this really weird language that I'm not getting my target audience to buy my diapers. I got to make it something that the people, the parents, whatever, they're going to want to buy this product.
Right.
So then really analyzing that and then lining up what your business is with what you want and your audience wants. And that's really crucial because your point is not going to get across. So then putting that in Facebook. So how would we be able to implement that in Facebook business page? I think we could do that pretty simply.
Okay.
Having a face that people quickly know what you're about.
Okay.
Right.
By face, do you mean the profile picture?
Right. Profile picture,
right.
cover picture,
cover photo,
about us, everything. What people see.
Yeah.
What are you about?
Yeah. And that should be related to your business or your brand, right? It should people should just see it and know, okay, this guy sells diaper, let's say.
Yeah. And how can you help them? What are you offering?
Yeah.
That's unique, or what are you offering that? Why would I want to buy your product or your service? What's so special about that? Or how is it going to help me in my life?
Right.
So really making that apparent through your pictures, your posts, your about us, and everything. Right. Make sure to have as much information. That way, people are not asking you, "Hey, man, what's your address?" Or, "Hey, man,
right.
What is your? How do I call you?
Yeah.
Or how do I
your office hours or
how do I buy your thing?
Yeah.
Make it as easy as possible for people to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, that's another thing also we will talk about in a future podcast, how to make your Facebook page or website so user-friendly that it just flows and people take action on your page. That's going to be in the future podcast. But that's a good starting point, as Abdullah mentioned, is that first create a Facebook page. Most likely that's what I want to start with.
Right.
And then after that, build identity of your product, right? Have a picture that could reflect your identity.
Exactly.
Create the description or about us page, right? The cover photo, and then in your Facebook page try to address all the questions, like you said, is that where can I buy it? Where is the location? What is the office hours? you know, and what is the business all about.
Exactly.
So whenever a customer steps into your Facebook account, he knows pretty much everything about your business in a most convenient manner possible, right? Do you agree on that?
That's crucial.
That's crucial.
That's
yeah.
crucial.
Yeah.
Don't waste time, you know, making things complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Do not make an ad.
Uh-huh.
Like, don't take like a I see it on TV ad and make
Yeah.
that on your Facebook
Yeah.
or your website, because nobody wants to see that.
Right.
People want to see get the most information from the fewest things. So just keep that in mind. Make it simple.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna end our first ever podcast.
That's
Waves by
Clinet.
I'm sorry, guys. Waves is a podcast by Clinet. As our first podcast ever. I hope you got a good value out of this podcast, and we promise to bring you similar kind of podcasts that packed with value every week.
Every single week.
And on top of that, in our Facebook, Instagram, and all social media, every week we're going to have 3 to 4 posts, and that will also contain a lot of value. Right, Abdullah?
Yeah, we're always want to help you succeed.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to give you as much value as we can to help you get there.
Exactly. Yeah. So keep tuned for our next podcast. And in the meanwhile, if you could follow us, if you haven't followed, and then see some of our posts that's there, we will appreciate that. All right, guys?
All right. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Have a great
social media day.